Matt Rhule strikes tone with, let's just shut up and go to work. And Matt Rhule was a guest this week on the Husker Sports Radio Network with Jessica Cootie for a segment this past week, and hit on a number of different topics, Steve Sipple. But that one really got your attention as he kind of turns the page here and really gets into the summer.
Yeah, it did get my he did strike the right tone, as that headline says. It struck a good chord with a lot of people. I noticed on my Twitter. Sean, you've mentioned this a few times, this part, that it's been a long time since Nebraska started a season 1-0. It was 2019 to be exact, when they beat South Alabama. And I think that score, Sean, was 35-21. Does that sound right to you?
It was a lot closer than it should have been.
So Nebraska hasn't been 1-0 in a long time. And Matt Rhule's driving home that point. And the other night he said, as a program, here's what he said exactly. As a program, we've just kind of got to shut up and go work and earn some things. I trust these guys. They're really good workers. I think they'll do it. What a great quote. What a great quote from a leader. As a program, we've just kind of got to shut up and go work and earn some things. Not that there's a lot of talking, there's not. But, in this world, Sean, in this world that we're in, there's inevitably everybody's talking. I guess I should put it this way. Nebraska's not talking any more than a lot of other programs talk. But I like that. I like that message.
There's just a desire here, because of the microscope, the media coverage, the number of people that cover this team, to talk to people in the slow times of the year. It's not like that in Madison, Wisconsin.
Nope.
It's not like that in Iowa City.
Nope.
It's not like that in Manhattan or Lawrence.
No.
But here, where 90,000 people attend games in a state with less than 2 million people every week, every home game,
mm-hmm.
There's a desire to hear people talk. So then it leads to headlines in the off season and creates, kind of the talking season part. But
yeah, it is.
The expectations, I wrote this on Thursday, Sip, about the over-unders. And it is startling when you look at what Nebraska has done since the year 2015.
Okay.
They've only gone over on their Vegas over-under win total one time since 2015.
Since 2015.
And that was the 2016 year where they went 9-4, 9 regular season wins. They had an over-under that year at 7.5. The most highest over-under they had recently was in 2019. Very manageable schedule, picked to win the West. They were ranked in the preseason. They had an 8.5 over-under. They only won 5 games.
Yeah. Ooh, ouch. So this year it's 7.5 is what Sean, I saw that on Circus Sports. So I think we look at different
7.5 is this year's number. No, the number is the same pretty much everywhere.
Okay, 7.5, which is it's a number that makes sense. It's a number, right now, and these conversations do evolve, but right now, as I sit here, I think of Nebraska as a 7-win team in the regular season. And so 7, I take the under probably right now, but it'd be hard. It'd be a hard bet to make. The schedule, we talk about it all the time, is manageable. And it's not just manageable at the first 7. It's, Sean, if you really look at it, the back end's pretty manageable too. UCLA coming into Lincoln in November, I like Nebraska's chances a lot. In fact, UCLA's over under, I believe, is 5.5. USC is 7.5 as well. Nebraska's over under 7.5. USC's a 7.5. That's not a deadly game in any way. I don't worry about USC punishing Nebraska physically or anything like that. They don't do that to anybody. Wisconsin, come on, that's very manageable. They about beat them last year, and at Iowa, Nebraska, it wasn't that long ago, Nebraska won at Iowa. So the schedule really from front to back is manageable.
Because Iowa and Wisconsin have beaten Nebraska so consistently.
Yeah.
Like you feel like there's this massive gap.
There's not.
In the win-loss there is, but when you watch the games and how close they've been, there's not.
No.
I mean, they jumped up 14-0 in Madison last year.
Yeah.
And they were a third down stop, probably from potentially knocking Wisconsin out of that game.
Right. And I talk about that sometimes with the Nebraska defense. It was a good defense. It was the 11th ranked defense in the country, but I can remember too many instances where they didn't get stops late. And Tony White will remind his guys of that.
And I think if you're being objective, a lot of defenses in the Big Ten were good because the offensive play wasn't great. So a lot of defensive numbers in this league for a lot of teams were ranked high.
That's true.
Because there were hardly any offenses that put up 400 yards a game.
Right. Now, back to Nebraska's defense, though, you watched it. They're good. I mean, that's a good defense. I don't, they
got to force more turnovers.
Yeah.
And they got to, get more sacks with 4-man rushes. I mean, I think those are the two things I'd like to see this year. And Matt Rhule made I forget what game it was, but they had at least 6 sacks one game or 8, a high number. And he's like, I've never been a part of a game where we had 8 sacks or whatever it was. And we didn't force a fumble off one of them.
Yeah, I know.
Things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's how you flip a game.
Absolutely. And that's one way that Nebraska can reverse that ungodly trend of losing 1-score games. But anyway, I like that tone. Going back to the quote, just shut up and go to work and earn. And that's, what? He has that type of team. And he's that type of coach. So, we always talk about vibe and culture. It's good. I mean, they got through the spring really well. It was a good spring game. Unlike last year, that turnover issue was real, and it proved to be a portend to what we saw during the regular season. This season, the spring game went really well. I thought the spring went really well. And then, then the leader is on the statewide radio saying, let's just keep working. Let's just keep working and keep our heads down.